No, people are always like, we can be better as black people. We got to do better. Let's be better. What if this is as great as it's going to get? However you think of us as a collective, what if where we are as a collective is the greatest it's ever going to be for black people? Like, this is the greatest we're ever going to be.
Let me make sure I understand the question. This is the greatest we're ever going to be, or this is the greatest we're ever going to be perceived?
No, that we're going to be. Because we're going to be perceived however the world's going to perceive us. But when we go out in spaces, there are pockets of us. And other cultures have pockets of they people too. There are pockets of us. We going to twerk. We're going to play a certain kind of music. We're going to smoke. Now, I ain't saying this is bad or whatever. I'm just saying there's a certain place you're going to go where, especially on I've seen videos of cruises, especially like the $300 to $500 cruises. It's like pretty much like the Spirit airline of cruises. It's a bunch of niggas on there acting a damn fool, especially when alcohol and all that shit get passed around. Sometimes fights break out.
Now let me ask you something.
I'm not saying it's a negative connotation.
I'm just asking before you continue because I'm not that privy to this. On those cruises, you think it's a majority black people? It
is. When you see the videos, it's 80% maybe more black people. It's a lot of niggas on there acting a fool, fighting, drinking, twerking all over the place. I mean, there's a place here in Dallas a couple years ago, Kitchen and Cocktails, where the music was blasting, certain kind of music playing.
The music's too loud.
It was hella loud. Their music was way too loud. Like Kevin Kelly, y'all got to do better. I haven't been there in forever, but if it's the same, do better. But the girl was on the table, twerking to the owner, had to come out, and he said it went viral. But we've been in places where the music is playing, and almost like the spirit hit them. They on tables, they dancing, they twerking everywhere.
What spirit?
The spirit of the music just hits your body. I've seen it hit people's body, right? And I'm like, well, what if this is the best that we ever gonna be? What if this is it? What if this is the best we're gonna be? And then whatever what our intellectual people look like and how they act, what if that's what that's gonna be? But what if this is?
Are you asking? What if this is the apex of the black
of our
race?
Evolution? Apex of our black evolution. What we are now? What if it's the apex of our evolution as a people?
It's more than good enough. I think we have proven throughout history that we are the most intellectual, resourceful, culturally relevant people this earth have ever seen.
Yeah,
so
but we're also,
I think we've outkicked the coverage, actually.
We definitely outkicked the coverage, but I think we outkicked the coverage a small group compared, because statistics show lack of education, lack of college degrees, besides black women, lack of entrepreneurship and business owners, lack of home ownership.
You can't say besides black women. That's a whole 50%.
Well, when they look at almost like groups of people.
But keep going. Okay.
So like
when you say certain groups of people, I
every
understand what you're saying.
statistical category, black people tend to be at the bottom of the list.
Of what type of list?
Of, like I said, entrepreneurship, home ownership, nuclear family, finances, education, all that. We're at the bottom. So we had a group of people that outkicked the coverage and that represented all of us. It wasn't like a super large number compared to other cultures.
It's not true.
Did it? Why not?
Name me your 5 favorite rappers.
Jay-Z, Kanye, Tupac, Biggie, and Clips. I count them as one.
Okay, I don't know much about the Clips, but from their raps, I would say that's 5 or 6 people who were able to take their families and people who they love from an impoverished community. And now, that's 5. There are hundreds of rappers they're dancers who've been able to do that.
But there's still a small collective of people compared to the larger number of us. They just do it at such a high level. But even all the people we name, as a collective, we're still at the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to economics in the world. So those people, you really can't count those people because entertainment is a different thing. So we look at just like everyday working class people.
When it comes to economically spending
for one, we're the biggest spenders. And
so we're on the bigger spenders, so we can't be at the bottom.
Yes, we can, because we spend money we don't have.
But we spend it, so we can't be at the bottom of that list. But keep going.
Well,
so
you can
trying to make sure I understand.
You can have $3 and spend it as soon as you get it. But the next cultural or racial group of people can have $12. The next one can have $23. So we don't make as much money, but we also spend more.
Right.
Which means we're letting our money go faster.
Okay.
So
For sure.
but like, you know, with all that said, like, what if this is the best? Are you okay if this is the apex of us as a culture, knowing you're raising children that hey, this is the top of the top for us. We're not gonna have more educated people the way we think we are. You know, our threshold of like success. I mean, it's only gonna be about this many people. You can get into that list, but
it depends on how you look at education and
home
success.
ownership's not going to go up. Where we're at, home ownership probably going to stay about right here. Where we're at, education and people going and graduating.
It depends
to
on how
college,
you look at success in education. Because if you look at education 30 years from now, from 30
I'm
years
talking about university.
If you look at university 30 years ago to what it means now, it hails in comparison to what it means. So it depends on what you think, what you believe about success in education.
Well, I'm saying whatever the number is right now, whatever the number is, statistical numbers, which I don't have, but whatever they are, it probably ain't gonna get too much better. And if anything, it's probably gonna dip because less kids are going to school, especially less men are going to school, and black men is even further. But this is pretty much where it's gonna be. Only thing is from here is down.
Why? I'm confused.
I'm saying, like, what if that's the narrative? Like,
this is the
apex, and only thing we gonna do is go down from here. And we're gonna have less educated black people. We're gonna have less home.
That's a loaded question. If you're saying, well, I think the question is loaded. I'm fine with the way black people are. Yes, I think everything, no matter what race, whether you're a human, a tree, or whatever, everything grows. So in this scenario, in this world, if growth stops, because that's what we're talking about. Because I'm not okay with us as a people or anything not growing. That's what you're made to do, is to grow. But for everything that you said that could be interpreted as negative about black people, the kitchen and cocktails thing and all that, same happens with every other culture.
Right. That's why I made sure to state that at the beginning. Like, every culture has their subgroup of people that do the thing. But, you know, and part of me thought of this as well is because, you know, they say by, was it 2050, majority of the country is going to be mixed, right? So right now,
I don't believe that either.
Well, they're just saying what's trending, right? They're looking at the census and what's trending. But right now, you have white people who are over the financial institutes, white people who are leading in like business ownership, home ownership once again. So are pretty much like the I could be saying this phrase wrong, but they're like the stronghold of the economy. But eventually, those people who are in charge when it comes to like finances and education, things like that, those people are going to slowly die down, and then this mixed or colored group of people are going to be the ones in charge. So if we aren't doing what we need to do when it comes to financial literacy, education, getting in front of like technology and AI and all these different things, will we have a place in society if we aren't doing the things we need to do now? So by the time 2050 or whatever the date is.
No, but aren't we?
I don't know if we are.
Oh, okay, me either.
You can always find a argument or information that validates your claim. So if I say that we're not, I'm pretty sure I can find statistics that say, no, black people, we still aren't doing the things in finance. We still aren't on the edge of education. Like with AI, I know a lot of black people still haven't really embraced AI. We're always last with technology, but this is the first time in history that we actually can pull up a seat to the table. Unlike previous generations. Could you
understand the intrepidation? Because everything that's been introduced to us, or most thing that's been introduced to us, has been a lie. No different than when black people were hesitant about taking medication or vaccines or whatever. No different than AI has been proven to be racist.
Well, so here's my thing though. So I've always, I run with the narrative, and I'm not saying everybody has to, but we are the first really true free generation, meaning we have access to unlimited, pretty much every ounce of information out there, that things that our parents and previous generations, especially like grandparents and great-grandparents didn't. So when it comes to case like AI, learning about finances, learning about business, learning about home ownership, learning about health, we don't have any excuses because all the information is right here in our hand, a palm of our hand. We can learn every single thing. So with AI, we can learn how to train models that aren't racist. Finances, we can learn about credit scores. We can learn about loans. We can learn about savings. We can learn about RAs and 401ks and all that stuff.
But it's not. If it was that easy to learn by just reading, then more people would do it regardless of the race. What it is about institutionally teaching. So I'm not in disagreement with you, but the information is there, but information won't matter. I mean, you had this debate before,
Right.
because you look up videos and you able to, or you can get somewhere on fixing your car. You're not a mechanic.
But it's not about being a mechanic. It's like basic survival skills, and the information is there. And it's not like you're not coming across. I mean, and I think it's a mind shift for one. Like, people have to shift their mind to want to know about a thing, right? But then also, like, it's
I need somebody to trust to tell me.
Sometimes you do need somebody to trust, but also you do have to be willing to go seek the information, because there's a lot of like,
I gotta know that I need to be willing to seek it.
But like,
you understand what I'm saying?
But like, so there's things that you and I are into, the things that you're into when it comes to like filmmaking and creating content and all those different things. When you go seek information, you don't necessarily know you trust these people unless you have like someone who's like a mentor that can sit down and with you. You're watching these YouTube videos and reading these books. You don't even know if this information is accurate. The only thing you're doing, you're taking information, you're putting it into action, and then you're saying, this worked, this did not, this worked, this did, this works for me. And then you continue that journey.
And I agree with you, but it's based on how I feel on the inside. Now, there are some people who are like, man, I really want to just be financially free. That's kind of a exterior feeling. I want to be free is one that comes from inside. That's an innate feeling. So me learning all these things about film, I'm saying the reason why I want to and why it doesn't necessarily have to trust this person or whatever. You have to know that you want to. I know that I like film. I know that I like writing. I know that I like stories. So I know that I like these things. So that's why I'm seeking it out, which is different than home ownership or whatever. That's different. That's not innate is what I'm saying.
I don't know. I don't know if that's not innate, because
I'm telling you, home ownership is not innate. Provisions.
I'll give you this. If you don't come from an environment, especially anyone in your family owned a home, and all you know is either renting or living with somebody else or in apartments, so your mindset may not be centered on that. But as you get older, you're gonna hear conversation of the value of home ownership, the value of having a good credit score.
Got nothing to do with how you feel inside. I agree with you. I'm just separating the two. For when you have a hobby, a craft, or something that defines you and who you are,
I understand that passion drives the seeking.
Thank you. The passion drives you to seek out that information, and then from there, blah 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 blah. But if I'm in a world, if you just drop me on Mars and you say, well, this is how Mars work, this is how Mars work, this is how Mars work, and let's just say 6 out of those 10 times, I come to figure out, God damn, y'all told me this how it work, and this ain't how I've been working at all. I might not be in a rush once the 11th time, and it's like, this the new wave. Yeah, they told Tuskegee Airmen it was this, but they was they was poisoning them and killing them. Like they told us, hey, this is how you're supposed to eat. They was in the charts in the school. This is how you're supposed to eat. That's not for black people. So if I was only supposed to go by that, so I'm saying you have to understand the intrepidation about wanting to learn what they telling me is the new thing. What was the thing with the NFTs? Like, there might be an NFT. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's a difference between it being innate. If I want to learn how to motherfucking dance and I'm watching dance videos, I'm a dancer. I feel like that's the difference between somebody who dancing and feel like a dancer and somebody who just see a movie and like, oh, that looks cool. So it's the difference in learning information. You got to want to learn the information.
Yeah.
But if we had, so I think the problem is not the individual and us not wanting to, hey, well, you got to want to do this. No, it's the structure of teaching. The teaching is what we're missing. I don't think it's fair to blame it on the individual, especially when you have a certain percentage of them that do have to worry about living or dying. Like, it's hard for me to worry about wanting to own a home or wanting to become more financially stable and whether I'm gonna live or die. Now, some days I can think about that, but it's hard for me to buy a book or read up on this or this when I don't know whether I'm going to live or die. And there are some people living in that reality. Now, 20%, 18%. Yeah. I'm not saying that that's the majority, but I guess I'm speaking to the difference between when something is innate. That's one thing. So how you chase after something because your passion when it's innate.
But I don't think
structurally. Like and subscribe. I'm gonna show the world your Pornhub search history. Nasty.